Try to get her attention.
Hey, Bets.
Look over there.
Hey, Bets.
Look over
She wants to lick your face.
She does. Look at that guy. Look at him. You want to say hi? Look at the viewers. Your adoring fans. She looks like a gremlin. Good morning, gentle viewer. April 30th is National Adopt a Shelter Pet Day, so I thought I'd share with you our story about how we came to adopt our rescue dog and share with you some of her personal favorites. Now, my husband and I have been talking about adopting a dog for a long time, and it's not a responsibility I take lightly. We considered all the factors and decided that now would be a great time to adopt a dog into our family. And the way I started that process was through Petfinder.com. If you don't know, Petfinder.com is a big website where local shelters and foster networks can post various pet profiles, and you can set the parameters for the pets that you are looking for. And it was through Petfinder that I located the Old Dominion Humane Society in Fredericksburg, Virginia. We looked at several different dogs before deciding on the one that we ultimately adopted. And shelter dogs vary so much that I knew I wanted to be very selective in the parameters I set. 1, she had to be small in size. 2, she needed to be an adult. And 3, she had to be on the chill side. Now, every animal is going to be an individual, and there's so many variations. When you're looking into adopting a shelter animal, you have to decide what's most important for yourself. So having set those parameters, we then narrowed down the search to different dogs. And luckily for us, this shelter was very good about posting pet profiles on their Facebook page. So we were really able to beforehand go on there and read about the different dogs and taking a look at their personalities, how they were doing in foster care, what special needs did they have, had they been socialized. It can be a very overwhelming experience both for you and for the animal. When we first got there, both of the dogs that we looked at were very reserved. They were more shy. They weren't these overly friendly animals who were running up and licking your face. They were just more cautious and more wary. Obviously, it's a stressful environment for the animal and for you, so I would say just take your time. If you can, spend some time one-on-one with the animal, and also, most importantly, talk to a volunteer who has spent a considerable amount of time alone with that animal. Luckily, we were able to meet one-on-one with Betty's foster mother, and so we were able to ask her a lot of questions like, what was she like at home, and is she gonna warm up to us? And so it was through talking to her and then getting to spend some time one-on-one with her that we were able to decide that she was the right dog for us. Now, of course, Betty is not perfect by any means. She has her own list of personality quirks. She has her own special list of bad habits that we're working on. But in the end, her activity level and her personality really allow her to fit into our household just right. It does take more time, and you do have to invest more time in the beginning. You need to give yourself more time to get to know them. It took several days for Betty to feel comfortable around us, but now she's very comfortable around us. She's a very happy dog, and it's been fun to see her relationship to us develop over the days. And it's been fun to see her find her place in our family. But if you're thinking about adding a pet to your family, I highly recommend at least visiting a few shelters, talk to the volunteers, tell them what you are looking for, scope out their pet profiles online ahead of time, and don't be drawn immediately to a pet that looks a specific way. It can be really fun, of course, to pick the fluffiest puppy, but by choosing personality over looks, we were able to find a dog who's just more in line with us as a family. Of course, bringing home a dog comes with its own set of responsibilities. We've been buying a lot of pet supplies and doggy goodies, so I'm going to share with you some of the favorites that we've been using and that Betty also really loves. Now, starting off with the basics, this is a leash and collar set by Frisco. This is the Midnight Floral pattern. It's a bright, vibrant floral pattern and polka dot pattern over dark blue. And of course, I love the floral pattern for spring. She even got a lot of compliments when we took her to the vet for being an on-trend dog. Cuteness aside, I do really like this collar. The collar that she had on before, it only had one ring for both ID tags and for clipping to the leash. But this collar has two separate rings, so you can use one for tags and the other one separately for the leash. And I really like that because if something were to happen to the leash ring, I feel assured that at least I know her ID tags would still stay fixed to the collar. Now, Betty has a very interesting shape. She has kind of a longer, lean greyhound or whippet style body, but her neck and her head are on the smaller side. This is a harness by the brand Puppia. The mesh front is padded and it has a slight stretch to it. So it fits her neck really well. It's not gonna rub against her and cause any sore places. And this one does have the leash clip on the back, and the back strap is fully adjustable to fit around her girth. And Betty's not much of a chewer, so she's not super into chew toys, but she loves these little mini hedgehog toys. These are by the brand ZippyPaws, and it came in a pack of 3 along with a burrowing toy. She hasn't quite figured out how to remove them from the burrow yet, but she loves just playing with these on their own. She'll chase them through the house and just hold them in her mouth while you pet her. And they are squeaky, which I'm not gonna squeak because I don't want to bring her running. And she is more of a low energy dog, but in addition to walks, I wanted to make sure she was getting stimulated throughout the day. It helps keep her calm. This is the Trixie activity flipboard, and it's got lots of small cavities where you can place treats, and then Betty has to figure out how to maneuver all the pieces to get where the treats are. Now, toys are going to vary greatly. There's so many different kinds, and they all really depend on your dog, their activity level, and what their preferences are. She's not a big chewer, so she's not going to grab a piece and run off with it. So this makes sure she just has some mental stimulation during the day. This is a level 2, and I still kind of have to guide her through some of the more difficult sections, but I think once she gets a handle on this, she'll be ready to move on to a level 3 activity board. For dog bowls, we're using the Outward Hound Fun Feeder. These are slow feeders designed to slow down your dog's eating. This is the size small. It holds about 2 cups of food. And I just like that they force her to slow down and sort of think about how to maneuver the food to a place where she can get it. All right, let's talk about treats. These are the American Journey oven-baked dog treats. This particular bag is the lamb recipe. And I like that there's a very short list of ingredients. There's only 12 ingredients in here. And these are really great to break up and stuff into a Kong along with some peanut butter. Now, these are Betty's ultimate favorite treats. These are the Tylee's pork jerky. They are 100% pork sirloin. They only have a single ingredient, and she loves these. She goes crazy for them. And I really like them, not just because they are only a single ingredient, but they are really easy to pull apart into smaller pieces. So these are really great for training. I can just break up one piece and use all those smaller bits to teach her those various commands. And it's also really easy to put them then into her puzzle toy, or to stuff them into a Kong with some peanut butter, or just to keep them in my pocket so that when we're out on walks and doing leash training, she has that extra incentive to pay attention to me. So that's gonna wrap up my video about Betty. I hope you enjoyed learning Betty's story, and I hope that in the future, if you're considering adopting, please check out your local shelters, your local foster networks. There's so many animals out there who are in need of a good home, and if you take the time and do your research, you'll be able to find the pet that fits in with your family perfectly. I hope you have a great weekend that's full of creativity and positivity, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.